What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Work Wherever podcast. This podcast is taking on a bit of a facelift. So we are going to start doing more about going out into the world, working wherever, our experiences, how we live our life, how we homeschool our kids, how we built a business that can effectively work wherever, and how you can too. So this podcast today is about our newest internet. So it is Starlink. And I got the mini kit is what we ordered. So our previous internet that we used was the T-Mobile home internet. And I actually canceled it today because I knew that this Starlink was coming. And so I'm going to open it on this and talk through it while we record this podcast. But I'll start off by saying that in order to work wherever, you need to have internet, right? So internet is extremely important, and a lot of campsites don't have good, reliable internet. On top of that, you can't necessarily trust the security at a campsite. That internet that you needs to be secure, or you're going to run into issues, and you don't want to put your jeopardy, or you don't want to put your business in jeopardy or at risk by connecting to a shoddy Wi-Fi network. That includes not just campsites. So I'm not picking on campsites here. That includes Starbucks or coffee shops or wherever you go drink your coffee, right? Don't connect to the general Wi-Fi. Always bring your own Wi-Fi. And even bringing like one of those pucks that can, one of those hotspot pucks, that can lead to problems as people can hack into those. So you got to be careful with those. Whenever I'm working in a public space, I have a USB router internet for security. But then we started using the T-Mobile internet. It's supposed to connect up to 50, 60 devices. I forget we never reached the maximum. But we did find out with the T-Mobile, what we didn't like about it is oftentimes when we're camping, the time that we are using the internet is during the day. Makes sense, right? I'm working. And so we're trying to connect, and I'm connecting multiple devices, my phone, my laptop. The kids are connecting their internet for homeschool and then watching TV or videos or whatever. And so we had multiple devices connected to the internet, and T-Mobile, they prioritize cellular connectivity. So if you have somebody, if there's a lot of people who are trying to connect, the connection bandwidth it favors cellular devices. So we would notice that our internet would just randomly stop or slow down or buffer. It got super annoying. And I read through T-Mobile that that's pretty common because when there's a lot of traffic on their network, they prioritize cellular traffic. So it was pretty much the exact opposite. It got to the point where we couldn't even connect. I couldn't even connect. It kept bouncing. And then I was like, well, I wonder if there's just no service out here. And we didn't really have good T-Mobile service, but it was better than the internet. And then I was like, well, maybe it's my devices. And I did connect one of the devices, which was a TV. I connected it to the campsite internet and it worked fine. So it was not the device. It was in fact our T-Mobile internet. And that's when I ordered Starlink. So I have a friend who was telling about Starlink. He was in North Carolina doing some of that help with everything that's going down there with the hurricane. And he said that Elon Musk dropped 20 of these Starlink minis and that it basically saved their entire operation, that they were able to communicate. It was the only way that he was able to talk with his family. And so that sold me because I want to be off grid as much as I can, or away from the traditional office space. Like that's what Go Work Wherever is all about. The Work Wherever experience is all about leaving the traditional office space. And when I say traditional office space, I think of cubicles or like buildings, right? But that could also mean working from home. Like I want to push the limits here. And that's what this podcast is really going to start focusing on, is how far can we push the limits and still work work productively and securely and efficiently. So here is Starlink. So that was our journey to Starlink. We canceled T-Mobile because of the it just wasn't what we wanted. It didn't really push the boundaries. You had to still be in kind of like an area that was highly populated, had good cell service, and it didn't fit what we were trying to do. So we ordered Starlink. And this is my unboxing of Starlink. It looks like, so I got the mini. And so this mini comes with this dish, then it comes with this, this looks to be like a way to calibrate it, which I'm obviously not going to do on this podcast. And then it comes with a couple other things. I got a cable here. What is this, an Ethernet cable? I don't know what this is. Oh, it's the charger port. Duh. So we have the charger port cable here, and then it looks like we have a mounting bracket, which is cool, because we are going to mount this on the trailer. At least that's the general idea here. So that is Starlink. And obviously I haven't used it yet because you just watched me open it up, but it does come with a mounting system. This is the mini, which I don't know. It's not heavy. It's not as light as I thought it was going to be. It's pretty heavy duty. It is, the back is plastic, but I don't know. It's not light. When I ordered it, it showed like a backpacker. And so that's why I didn't get the standard. This one was a little bit more expensive. The mini is a little bit more expensive than the standard. But the person that they showed was backpacking and moving around. And that's the general idea that I have, is to say, look, like I want to push this to the limit. So if I want to strap this to a backpack and go out into the woods or go out into the mountains or beach or wherever I want to go, I want internet everywhere. So that's the reason why I got the mini. And it, like I said, it's not heavy. It's not as light as I thought it was going to be. The way that the pictures look online, it kind of makes it seem like it is, I don't know, a little thinner, maybe. I don't really know. It's kind of hard to explain. It's probably, I don't know, 5 to 7 pounds if I had to guess. They don't have any instructions in here. All the instructions say to do is it shows you how to set up the charge, and then it basically says scan this QR code with your phone, and then it'll walk you through it. Those are the instructions. So it's literally just cardboard, a mounting, a charger, and the mini Starlink. So we're going to put it to good use. We're going camping this weekend. So we're going to put it into use immediately. So I'll know by this next podcast. We'll do a before and after review to say what we liked, what we didn't like. But that was the reason why we got it to begin with, was the T-Mobile internet was just not doing what we wanted it to do. I still do have that USB plug-in internet that works pretty good. But again, so that's through the Verizon network. The Verizon network does not always get good internet either, and it's only a singular device. So while I might still have internet with my laptop, my phone might not have really good service, which is kind of crappy, although I do have a VoIP phone system on my computer that I'm able to make calls. But the kids can't watch their shows, they can't homeschool, and so it severely limits us if we'll have to only rely on my Verizon USB. So that was another reason. That was one of the reasons why we got T-Mobile to begin with. The T-Mobile, the bandwidth, like I said, was just terrible. It really didn't live up to what we were hoping it would be. Even in, the suburb city type of location, we would bring it to class that we teach. My wife and I teach a class of other homeschool kids, and we would bring it there, and it would get overloaded. And there's 18 kids in our class, 20 kids in our class. And it says that it's supposed to handle up to 50 devices or whatever it is, 70 devices, I don't know, 50 devices, we'll say. And with the 20 devices, it was getting bogged down. So, but again, that's in the middle of the day. So they're prioritizing their cellular. It's a lot of high traffic on your network. So it just didn't live up to the hype. it just wasn't everything that we were hoping that it would be. Now, Starlink is a bit of a gamble, I suppose. I did want it before and didn't pull the trigger until I had a buddy who had firsthand experience with it, because the T-Mobile, the internet box itself that I got, super light. You could hide it in wherever you wanted to. Like, it was not that big of a deal. It's pretty small and not really an eyesore. We put it on the counter of the RV, and when it worked, it was great. But it just stopped working a few different times. Right into the problems that we've talked about. So that the original idea behind it was get internet wherever we can. But I wanted to wait to get Starlink because the T-Mobile is free. It came free to us. So T-Mobile was really pushing it out. They said, hey, we'll give you this internet box for free. You just pay the monthly subscription, which was like $50-$60 a month. So $50-$60 a month for internet that of the speed that they were claiming that it hit seemed like a good idea. We were able to take internet to the class for a good while. It worked at a few different campsites, but just didn't do everything that we wanted it to do. And then enter Starlink Mini. Now, the Starlink Mini was a little bit more expensive. I want to say it was like around $500 to purchase. The standard is a little bit cheaper, but I went with the Mini because it has a couple built-in things to it. It looked like the standard, you had to buy a couple other accessories or something along with it, whereas the Mini, let me pull it up actually, because pull it up again. Because they were saying that the Mini has a built-in Ethernet cord with it. Let me see if that's true. I see the charger back here. And then is this the Ethernet? Looks like there's like another little plug thing back here that, yeah, it does. It has a built-in Ethernet cable to it. So you can plug directly in. Whereas the standard didn't have that. It was the standard, you had to pay extra for it as an accessory. So I just went ahead and got the Mini to make sure that I could connect day one, because that's what I really wanted. That's what I really cared about. So it was like $500 or so for the initial Starlink device that I have here with me. And then it's $50 a month. So, although I did end up getting the unlimited plan, which was a little bit more, but the base plan was $50 a month. It does have a 50 gig, I think, bandwidth for the $50 a month one. I got the unlimited, which I want to say was like $75 a month. So I'm paying $15 a month more than the T-Mobile, whereas it was spotty internet. Hopefully, if all reviews are what this thing points it to be, then I'm going to have less disruption, less bandwidth problems, less internet outage for $15, $15 more a month. So to me, that's an obvious win. Whether or not it plays out, we'll see. But I did want to jump on, do this podcast, show you guys where we're at with this podcast, tell you the way forward, where we're going to be highlighting more of our trips, more of how we do things, and bring you guys into our world of working wherever. We are in the process of releasing that website, goworkwherever.com. That's going to have all of our blogs, our videos, our reviews of products like this. You'll be able to purchase protein and snacks that we use when we're out on the go. You'll be able to purchase bundles that will help the remote worker. So we're really trying to build a community here of like-minded individuals who want to take work out into the world and want to work while living instead of being stuck to a cubicle. So I appreciate all you guys' support. I appreciate all of the years that you guys have listened to me and listened to this podcast and made it and turned it into what it is. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, to make sure that you're up to date with all of our reviews and all of our podcasts. Till next time, guys. See you.